All right, so for anybody joining us on the recording, welcome to today's webinar, Create a Business Plan, or How to Make a Business Plan. This is a 1 hour, super duper fast-paced session, but I'm going to go through the basics on kind of what a business plan is all about and how it fits into your business with all the other plans that you have to make and how it all fits together, okay? Just bring that down a little bit. All right. So first of all, before we get started into the topic, I want to let you know that I don't know how you came to be on this webinar today, but you might already be in the Digital Solutions Program, which is funded by the Australian government, and we deliver it here at Business Station, which is a not-for-profit. So the Digital Solutions Program, I'll talk about that right at the end, but to give you a brief introduction, you get 3 hours one-to-one, which could be with me as a strategic advisor and startup advisor, or it could be with someone else to do with digital marketing or operational planning or how to hire people and all that sort of stuff, how to do your finances. So it's quite a wide range of skills that we can provide for you. But as well as that, you also get webinars and workshops or online learning. And sometimes there's some live events as well. You can look on our website, businessstation.com.au, to find out more about those. But for now, just to let you know that if this interests you and you want to have some one-to-one advisory to help you with your business, the whole program is only $44, and I'm not even kidding. So it's highly subsidized by the Australian government. So we'll talk about that a little bit later, okay? But for now, let's get into today's topic, how to create a business plan and how it fits into your business. A little bit quickly about me, just so you know that I'm not some random person. My name is Rhonwyn Lerner. Rhonwyn, like Rhonwyn, but without the B, and so busy it flies away. And learner, because I love to learn, I love to train, and I am a trainer by trade. So I do this for a living. I think I clocked about 1,000 hours in Zoom last year, which is interesting. So I am a digital advisor for the Digital Solutions Program. I'm qualified in marketing and also behavioral science, so I'll be watching you. And I've worked with startups for about 15 years. I love this space because it's right at the point where we can teach people how to be financially independent, and, you're aspirational and you're looking for to carve your own path. And I just love it, love everything about it. And I also look at, talent and leadership development and have a few other businesses. So I do run my own businesses. I do know what it's all about. I have some wins and losses, some successes and failures, just like everybody. And you should be prepared for that if you're just getting started, because today's topic is all about planning. But not everything always goes to plan, as the last couple of years have shown us front and center. So my first question to you is, what do you think of when I say a business plan? Yeah? Do you think of it as some massive 150-page document? Do you think of it as a diagram scribbled on the back of a napkin, which I have seen before, lovingly? Is it something that you think, oh, someone's told me I have to do a business plan and now I'm trying to figure it out? Like, what are your thoughts around business planning? If you want to share your comments, please put it in the chat, and that's totally fine. And also in the chat, don't forget, if you want, you can also put in your where you're from and what sort of business you run, and we'll give it a little bit of a plug as well. Okay. So moving on. So what is a business plan? A business plan is a document setting out a business's future objectives, strategies for achieving them. Now, what does this mean? The word objective really just means a direction. Like, what are you shooting for? Why are you shooting for it? What is your business all about? And quite often we tend to have this in our brain, yeah? Especially if you're very intimate with your business, like you live it, you breathe it, you sleep it, which some of us do. Wake up at 1 a.m. with some amazing thought and got to jot it down. I definitely, I have a terrible habit of putting my phone next to my bed. And so 1 in the morning, 4 in the morning, like, oh my goodness, that's the structure I need for that new course. Jot on the notepad on my phone. So it definitely happens. But really, the business plan is bigger than that. It's an overarching document. It's something that we can share with others if we need to or want to. And it comes in many different shapes and forms. Yeah. So step seven, think of a business plan as something massive and draining. Yeah, I'm with you. And that is the kind of the traditional format of a business plan. We think of it as this kind of massive thing that's going to take hours to prepare, and quite often those kind of really big traditional business plans, they don't get followed, they don't get looked at, nobody checks back with them, they kind of just get shelved, which is a little bit sad, to be honest. So why don't we have a look at how do we use a business plan in our small business? So a small business is usually defined as like under 20 employees, under 20 million turnover. I'm sure we're all going, yeah, 20 million turnover, that'd be nice. And then sometimes even smaller than that, sometimes we have a definition for a micro business, which is usually like under 5 employees and you're earning a lot less than that, than the 20 million point, like maybe like less than a million. And then you even have like a nano or a solo where it's just you. And a lot of us run that just you, solopreneur, whatever you want to call it, kind of businesses. And that's totally fine. And you've really got to ask yourself, well, what am I doing this business for? So when you figure out how you're operating your business and what you're doing your business for, you can kind of figure out how your business plan fits into the way you run your business. So for example, if I ran a business with 20, 30, 300 employees, I have to have a business plan written on paper that I can share with other key people in my business. It just wouldn't function correctly. I've met a lot of business owners and worked for some over the time where, the business is like their baby and they don't want to let it go. And all the information is with that boss, that manager, that owner. All the critical information, all the planning information, all the decision making is with that one person. And in the beginning, when it's you and a handful of people, that can work. But as you get bigger and bigger and bigger, that means that every piece of information, every question, every decision has to go through one person. Imagine if that one person dropped off tomorrow, God forbid. You know what I mean? Even, a holiday. Like many business owners just don't take holidays because they've got 20 staff and everything goes through them. So when we plan out our business, really what we're saying is we're putting our map onto paper and showing ourselves and others around us who want to help us build our business, this is what it's all about. This is why I'm doing it. This is what I'm doing. This is the direction and the strategy and the definition of what we're doing here. So day to day in our small business, there's different ways we can use a business plan. The most important thing we use a business plan for is actually decision making. So if and you'll find you'll get to crossroads in your business, and it can be just small ones. So for example, timing as it is, I might have several opportunities put in front of me, a tender for this and a grant for that. Someone wants to do a program with me over here and that sort of thing. And that's super exciting. But if I'm only one person or me and a handful of people, I have to be really practical about what I can do, what I can deliver. And planning it out and getting my business plan off the shelf or out of the iPad and looking at it going, right, what fits with my objectives? What fits with my forward direction? Is this a zigzag? And I'll explain a zigzag in a minute, but is this a zigzag that's going to take me, way off course? Or is this a zigzag that's going to get me, into the place and the zone and the direction I want to get into? So all those questions have to be answered, and a business plan reminds us of our direction, reminds us of our endpoint and where we want to end up. And that way we can make really big decisions quite easily, actually, because we have the information we need to make them. Other things we can use it for is to, break down our budgets, track our cash flow. All of that stuff is in there too. All right. So here's a map of what plans you have in your business, just so we're super clear on what the differences are, right? Because a business plan is just one document. There's several different plans you can make, sadly, for those who don't like planning. Coffee. All right. Business plan is like the umbrella. Yeah, it's the overarching plan that goes, this is where we're going, what we're doing, and why we're doing it. Why is very important, actually. Yeah, if you don't know why you're running a business and the importance of why you're running that business, it actually means that we can tend to give up on our business quite easily. We don't really have a strong enough motivation. It doesn't become a, I must do this. It becomes a, oh, I kind of want to do this. And if you kind of want to do it, then it's a very soft motivation. Whereas if you remind yourself of your very central why of we're running a business, everything else can fall into place around that. So the business plan is the collation of all the ideas and what we're doing in the future and how we're getting there. It also details the resources, time, skills, and everything we have. So what that means is if I'm one person, I have one skill set. I mean, not one skill set, but, I'm limited by the skills that I have. And I have to kind of evaluate whether I need to gain more skills if there's a gap, or do I hire someone with those skills? And then the budget tells me, can I afford to hire someone with those skills? And if you want to have a chat with me, I can show you some great ways to get some people at the moment, because there's a million subsidies if you're in Australia. But also the time available. So this is something I suffered with quite a lot in the beginning with my business, is until I sat down and mapped out the actual operational plan, which I'll get to in a minute, the time and how much time things take and what I'm doing with it, I was really a little bit cloudy and vague on how much time things took and how much time I had available as a resource for myself. So once I mapped out, okay, well, this is what I want to achieve over the next 40 working weeks or 50 working weeks for the year. And then you break it down and go, well, there's, 5 workable days in a week, say, and realistically, with all the distractions and phone calls, and if you've got family or pets or whatever you're dealing with, emergencies, you've got to allow some cushion time. It gave me back to, okay, so I probably have like 25 solid working hours in a week, 50 weeks of the year. That gives me 125, 12,000 hours. I don't know. How's my math? I use a calculator these days. Very sad. So when you break it down and you go, okay, five workable hours in a day, for example, beyond all the, other stuff, then I go, right, that's actually not that much. Like, I can make a website in 5 hours, no problem. But if I don't know what to put in that website, or I don't know where to get my content, or if there's lots of stuff I just don't know how to do yet, that's going to double my time easily. If I can serve 5 clients in a day, that's great. But you've got to make sure you've got all that admin, recording, and emailing, and setting appointments and bookings. You know what I mean? Things take longer than you think. So the business plan gives us a cap and a limit and some guidelines and parameters on what we can do with our business. And then the strategic plan comes next. So the business plan is the one that quite often we might make in great detail and do a lot of research for, and this is one we're going to go through today. But then the ones we use actually day to day are all the ones underneath it. So the business plan, the umbrella plan, guides the rest. So a strategic plan takes the vision from the business plan, the mission from the business plan, the values, the goals, the SWOT. All these parts do actually go into your business plan, steals them all out into a new document or a new plan, and then says, right, based on this, what am I doing this year? And how am I going to do it this year? So some of your strategic planning is kind of like, I'll give you an example. I run a training business, and one of the strategies I did one year was to partner with a registered training organization, because I'm not an RTO. I do non-accredited training, kick-ass training, non-accredited, just saying. And I thought, oh, you know what? There's government subsidies for RTO training. People sometimes do want a certificate, and I'm really, it's something I can do. I'm quite good at. So let's do it. And so that strategy, what it allowed me to do, partnering with an RTO, would be to add extra credibility to my business, being accredited training. It would entice a whole different segment of my target audience. So what that means is anybody who might do my course, there's a particular commonalities or things people have in common in a segment, and a different segment might be, I really want accredited training, not non-accredited training. So that brings a different audience to my business. And I'm in Queensland. So in Queensland and Australia, there's different subsidies for accredited training. And so if I partnered with an RTO that was approved for that funding, that meant that I could suddenly serve a whole bunch of startup businesses that couldn't afford me before, and now they can. That's strategy. Another strategy, and that was, towards the end goals, which is grow the business, expand, help as many people as I can, focus on startups, all those things come into my business plan. So the strategies are kind of like the path to get down. Now, I call these zigzags. Now, why do I call them zigzags? I call strategies zigzags because going to your end destination is not necessarily in a straight line. Yeah, that'd be true. Yeah, just like when you get in your car and you drive to your friend's house or your parents' house or your mate's house or school or whatever, you don't literally drive in a straight line there, do you? Yeah, roads and paths are built to intersect. There's some that are highways that cut through everything, and those strategies are amazing. They kind of they can get you to your destination a lot faster. But sometimes taking the back roads means you can enrich your experience and enrich your planning and you can meet more people and get exposed to a variety of different opportunities, right? Zigzag. So you might have more of a zigzag if, for instance, you had no money. So if you have no money and you're doing your business, which is very possible, no problem. If you have no money, you do everything the lean way, the no money down way. That's totally fine. But it just means your strategies are going to be different to if you had 50 grand in the bank. And then you've got, I'm going to get some digital billboards through Cassie.co, and I'm going to do some, partnership database marketing where I'm going to pay for someone to do stuff, or, I might do an affiliate thing. We're getting into marketing a bit specifically, but, it's more at the header level. Okay. So then from there, some of that might go into a marketing and sales plan. Now, I put marketing and sales together. I think because it's mostly called a marketing plan, but to be honest, if you are not selling, there's no point marketing. So you have to kind of put those two together. Now, there's another webinar or workshop I do that's all about the marketing plan and how to, plan your campaigns and stuff, which will be coming up soon if you're interested. But obviously, the marketing plan is like, okay, how are we attracting people to our business, and the sales part is converting them into leads and customers and advocates and referrals and all the rest, right? Then we have our operational plan, which is all about the day-to-day running of the business. Okay, I won't lie, not many people do this one. Super, super important though. It's all about. It's kind of like your scheduling. It's, working the triage system of, okay, I've got 50 things that are all important and all urgent today. Well, these are the ones that will be the least disastrous if I put them aside for today. These are the ones that are moderately disastrous if I put them aside for today. And these are the ones that are super duper important for growing my business and expanding and doing my strategy, which I'm going to do first today. So, operational planning kind of teaches you how to work within your resources, and it just manages all that. So, I talked about time before. Time goes really quickly. It's one of the key resources that you'll never get back. And if you don't treat it well and you don't treat it like your best friend, you will lose it like a leaky bathtub. It will just, or a sinking ship, it will just go. So managing your time and how that works. It's also, risk management. What's going to happen if? What if this? What if that? What if that? And it's not a lesson to scare you off your business. It's a lesson in smart, planning, future planning, right? I know there's a better word I can use there, but I've forgotten. So thinking about the future and how you're going to counter it to make sure nothing bad happens or reduce the risk of something bad happening. And then you've got workforce plan, which is all about staffing. Okay, so planning out, when do I need staff? How am I going to hire them? What's the budget? Are there any subsidies? Blah, blah, blah. Okay. So when do we use the business plan? Most important, obviously, with that list. If you have any questions, throw them in the Q&A, please. Feel free to do that now. When we do the business plan, okay, so we use the business plan. Number one, when we're making big decisions. Okay. So you grab your business plan, you look at your key strategies, you look at your goals, your mission, your vision, and you go, right, does this fit with my business? Do I want to do it? Yep. Beginning of the new year, we look at this quite a lot. Knowing when to hire help, when to do jobs? Is it in scope, connecting our budget and cash flow with the rest of our plans, right? It's about keeping control of our business, right? If you don't control your business, it will run you. Very, very, I should say control, but really it's going to run you. It's going to run you out of your mind if you don't control your business. And the way we control it is to plan ahead, and not just planning ahead, but to follow our plans, right? Sometimes I make a joke, the boss goes a little easy on me. And it's really just having a laugh at myself that, sometimes I make a plan for the day and I wake up and think, oh, I'm just exhausted today, which, sometimes it happens, and you have to cushion that into your timing as well. Some days we are just pushing so hard for days and weeks at a time that we just need a break. So you switch off everything for the day and you just have a rest. And so then I'm like, well, the boss was a little easy on me today, which is me, obviously. What types of business plan? All right, so this is the bit I really want to make sure you're super, super clear on. We're going for timing. Oh, and really getting quick through. So the messy, long-winded, painful business plan, that would be the formal, standard long-form business plan. Okay, and I'm going to show you a template for that in a bit. but look, when do you use a standard long-form business plan, which could be 50 pages plus, 30, 50, 100 pages, right? When do you do that? There's a couple of places you would do that with timings. I would say at the very, 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 very start of a business, when you're about to start, I would do a long business plan. And the reason I say that is because when you do a super detailed plan, it pushes you to research more. And it kind of becomes a feasibility study. So a feasibility study is where we look at, will this idea work? Now, I've been working with startups for, a long time. And something that I'm absolutely passionate about is, if you want to go do something, you should absolutely do it. No one on this planet should tell you don't do that. What I mean for a feasibility study is figuring out how can you do that, right? So if you jump into something and you haven't really worked out the nuts and bolts and how the cogs work together, you can feel like it's failing because it's not quite motioning along correctly. It could be that your pricing is out, or you didn't do your budget properly, or more often than not, you don't research enough, right? So one of the biggest mistakes people do in running and planning their business, especially when they're starting out, is they don't check their facts. We run a lot of assumptions based on our personal experience and observations. And that is a really great starting point. But beyond that, we have to check if this is a product or service people want to actually pay money for, which is different to all your friends and family and associates going, that's a great idea. That is not the same as throwing out a test product or service and seeing if someone buys, okay? And if they buy at that price. And there's lots of different ways you can test that. Oh, so hot today. So there's different places you can do research. Online is the most obvious. That's secondary research. Secondary research is where someone else has done the research and you get it secondhand. Still very good research. You can go to abs.gov.au, ABS for Australian Bureau of Statistics.gov.au. Any local council usually has some research on its population as well. So on the ABS website, you're looking for census data, but more often I would look at community profiles. Okay, I'm not going to put this in the chat or anything. I'm just going to let you know. Community profiles. So community profiles, which sometimes the councils use as well, it means you put in the area, the geographical area you want to serve, and it'll come up with all that lovely traditional demographic information about how much people, not specifically, but the group of that community, what do they earn? Sort of professions do they do? Do they own? Do they rent? Do they get to work by car? Do they own cars? All that kind of stuff. And what that tells you is a bit of a snapshot on what sort of audience you're dealing with in your local area. Now, obviously, that gets a lot more complicated because most of us are online now. We look online for customers because we can do a lot of things virtually. We can package and send things internationally, although shipping is a little horrendous at the moment, I won't lie. You know, and then we can do all sorts of things. So other research is we can go to, you can look up Google Scholar, SCHOLAR, and that has some access to some databases of journal articles. Some local libraries also grant access. So I'm in Brisbane, and I know Brisbane City Council grants access to database journals. Universities also, if you go and talk to universities, they obviously have them in the library, and you can just walk in and probably look at them if they're, you know, if they're open to that. Otherwise, they have an online database, and you can ask for, see if you can get some public access, or a state library of your state if you're in the capital city. So there's lots of different places you can actually get research. And then there's primary research or first-hand research, which, you know, I won't lie, you kind of have to have a little bit of knowledge to how to put a survey form together so that you don't just lead people into answering what you want to hear. Had to be in a very unbiased, pragmatic sort of way. But yeah, you can throw out a, you know, go to Jotform, JOTFORM, jotform.com, and you can get a free online form. There's two styles. There's a lovely cascading style that shows one question at a time. It's really lovely. It's for free. And send it out into your social media if you have some, or pass it along your partnerships, your networking groups, and say, hey guys, you know, if you're doing a school program, go to some schools and say, hey, can we put this in the newsletter, wherever, to access the people who are going to buy from you, and say, hey, can you do this 10 question survey, 20 question survey, take you 10 minutes to let us know what you actually need and want. Yeah, just helps you form the rest. All right, so lots of research, lots of detail, lots of breakdown in your formal long form. Great as a feasibility study. The other time you would use it is for going for bank loans, things like that. They quite often want to see a very, or finance, they quite often want to see a very detailed plan. The next one is informal. So informal is like taking the long form and then cutting out a lot of the extraneous stuff and just going, right, this is my one strategy. This is my list of services. This is my list of strategy, like marketing campaigns I'm going to do. And this is my mission and my vision. So it's just the bare bones of the skeleton, the framework of the long form. So the informal shortened version just takes, it's more like a list form plan. And that is a great reference plan to have. So even if you do the long form, you might do a 2 or 3 or 4 page, almost like an executive summary, where you just draw out the key critical bits that you might refer to throughout the year or years, throw it in a shortened document. Yeah, that could be a cut and paste job. Otherwise, you would just look for a short business plan template, and that's usually 5 pages or less for an informal shortened version. Model. A model business plan is where you basically do a 1-pager where you do a diagram layout. So what do I mean by that? I really should have got a whiteboard. I can do a whiteboard on here. Let me see if I can have a go with that. Okay. I don't often use a whiteboard, so let's see how we go. All right. So we have our business in the middle. I'm using a touchpad. Let's do B for business. All right. There's obviously you can use mind mapping software. So FreeMind, FREEMIND. FreeMind's a great free mind mapping program, or just grab a piece of paper. So for example, maybe I could use this one. You know what? I might actually use this one. It might be easier. Let me get a pen. Always have a white pen. All right. Not that color. Me trying to draw on that's going to be terrible. All right, it's going to take a second. So you have business. Oops. Marketing. Sales. Mission. Vision. Values. See that? That's not backwards, actually. That's my lovely writing. That's all I'm really wanting to demonstrate. That's it. Just to show you. Excuse me. What a mind map looks. Sneeze. What a mind map looks like. Yeah. So you said you have your central idea in the middle, which is your business, whatever that might be, and you branch off into the different areas of your business. So the different areas of your business are like marketing, finance, operations, resources. If you're not sure, you can absolutely just look at any business plan template and the contents page, and it'll give you, you know, the main section titles will be the areas. And the reason you do this is under marketing, again, you would just put, okay, we're going to do partnerships. Whoops. We're going to do social media, and we're going to do public relations. And under sales, we're going to have Etsy, because we're doing jewelry. We're going to have Instagram, selling through Instagram, and we're going to host it also, I don't know, on our, might do, book a one-to-one appointment. Vision, yeah. So this is diagram planning. You're literally just marking your main points under each one. Now, how super easy is that? Super easy. Anybody can do that. It's just taking your central points and expanding on each one. Okay. Sorry about the whole whiteboard thing. That didn't work very well, did it? I'll need a drawing pad next time. Okay. A journal style, which some of you might like if you are very big on taking notes and mapping, you know, drawing stuff out in that. Journal style is where you basically have a one-pager and you throw all your thoughts onto one page for a different area. So say you take that marketing and maybe do a diagram first, take that marketing, and on one page you go, right, this is all the marketing I'm going to do and how I'm going to do it. This is the money and this is how much it costs. It could be a bunch of doodling scribbles, and that's totally fine because it's your plan. Okay, so this is the kind of plan that's just for you. You can highlight things, you can decorate things, you can make it, you know, like a infographic, whatever you want to do. But essentially, it's just like a one-pager for each section of your business. So a one-pager to look at your values and your mission and your vision. You know, another one for the year's objectives, and or you might, you know, separate into 4 sections and go quarter 1, quarter 2, quarter 3, quarter 4. These are the goals for the year. Another section for marketing, right? And then what that means is you can put them together in a binder, or you can, you know, put them in a what do you call it, display folder or something. And if you want to change your marketing model, whip out that marketing page and then make a new one, slot it in, you're ready to go, right? So it's like a firm reference journal that you can just kind of like, how do you say it? I want to say it nicely, like absolutely explode all your ideas onto a page to make sense of them. And if you need to redo the page as many times as you like, you can. No pressure at all. Just do whatever you want with it. If you want to do it online or on your computer, the programs you would use is like OneNote if you've got Microsoft. You've got Evernote. I'm trying to think of what the Google one is. Is it Keep? Google Keep might be the one for journaling. I'll have a look at that. But if you go into Google and go Google, you know, compare OneNote to, Google will probably show you a bunch of predictive programs you could try. Flywheel is basically where you map out the process of your business, right? So Flywheel might be, first step is your values, your vision, your mission. I'll go through what those are in a minute. I'm sure you probably, some of you have never heard of that before. You're like, well, what the hell is a mission? What are you talking about? I'll explain in a minute. Then it goes through to, okay, the strategies. These are the strategies we use. Okay, these are the marketing campaigns. And it's basically like a pie chart is what a flywheel is. It's basically like a pie chart that shows a progression through your thought patterns for how you plan out your business and where you arrive to. And then you just keep circling back to it, right? So it's just it's a one-page image or graphic or diagram. To make that, you can use word Smartart. I could probably show you that actually. very, very quickly. If I have Word open, no, I don't. I've got about a million things open and not Word. It's always the way. All right, I'm just going to grab a blank document. Of course, I'll share it so you can see it. All right. So this is Word. You can do this. Oh, can you do this in Google? I don't know if you can do this in Google Docs actually, but you can definitely do it in Word. Otherwise, you could do it in Lucid Chart or any kind of flowchart program. But Word has this lovely function called Smartart. Yeah, so you go Insert, and where all the different shapes and things, you go Smartart. So some of you might be used to shapes, right? You make a flowchart. Smartart has like ready to go. So I'm going to go to like a cycle, something like that. And I quite like this one, or this one, or one of these. Okay. Or this, if you want to get a bit tricky, or this one. Anyway, you just grab one. So say I grab this one, which I think I've even got in one of my slides later on, because you can do it in PowerPoint, you can do Smartart in any Microsoft Office program. And, in the same way, like values, mission, okay, this is how you can draft it in Word. And you can get a lot more trickier. So if I was to do the other one with some text attached, where was it? This one. That would allow me to, add, you can add more sections to this to be clear. You can add more sections, and you can add a few bullet points of what you're going to do, right? So that's kind of what a flywheel can look like. New share. All right. And a schedule. So a schedule type of business plan is where you basically, a whiteboard is really great for a schedule plan, like a really big whiteboard. If you don't have a whiteboard, you see how I made mine on the back of a laminated, it's like a calendar someone gave me, and it's just laminated. Anything laminated you can use as a whiteboard, to be honest. You don't have to go out and buy a huge whiteboard. And Gumtree and Facebook Marketplace and places like this, I've seen 2-meter whiteboards up for like $20. So, please, if there's one thing I can teach you in your startup, is don't go buy everything fresh off the shelf. There's a lot of stuff out there that needs to be recycled and reused and secondhand. It's very good condition, so it doesn't end up in landfill. So a schedule is basically, say, my starting point is here, and then you mark like maybe 3 months in the future, and you map out what you're going to do over that next 3 months. Now you can do, obviously, if you're planning, ideally, you would go to the end of the timeline first and go, right, it's the 1 year if you're going to do, or 5 years, and you go, right, at 5 years, this is where it should be. At 3 years, this is where it should be. At 1 year, this is where the business should be. And over these 4 quarters of the first year, this is what I need to achieve. So it does mean in each mark of the timeline, you need to say what the objectives are, what strategies you're going to use, what people you're going to need to do it, what resources and budget you're going to need to do it. You do have to still go through that stuff in business plans, right? The only difference is how much detail you put in and how much formatting and buffering and fluff is in the document as well, okay? So these are different types of business plans. You won't often see this. This is from my own observation of the years of different ways people have worked with planning, because it doesn't have to be a huge, big document. All right, so this is this is mine. This is Smartart. So at the center of your business plan, you have to start with your why. Okay. From your why, in your why, you're going to have a few different things, including your values, your mission, your vision, everything. So, what are all these things? Very briefly. How are we going? A few more minutes. All right. Very briefly. I think you've heard the word values before. When you get your business going, or starting, or whatever, you are going to run your business by your own values. It's only natural, okay? And I've worked in businesses where they've come up with like 5 values, like teamwork and, integrity and stuff like that. And then I'll sit in a team, and the team doesn't follow any of it. I see some really dodgy stuff. Not this team. This is a great team that I'm working in, like years ago, So I've seen it all, but your values have to fit with you. So, and values don't have to be a one-worder. So you might say honesty and integrity might be a value for you, because you know what? You like to work with people who do things the right way and do things honorably. and morally, yeah? And you can trust them. And you quite often, if you observe yourself, you tend to surround yourself, or you get drawn to people who emanate the values and the personality traits that you actually have yourself, right? So, for example, I actually like people to be quite moral. Yeah, people who are quite immoral and make bad choices that affect other people negatively really gets my goat, right? So I tend to have my very close friends all have very good, strong morals. And it's not about what they tell me they do. It's about the actions and what I observe in them, that they're really good, genuine people, right? When it comes to my business, though, I expand on these things. So you don't have to have one word, but it's a starting point. Okay. Now you can go online and you can go values activity or values matrix or values whatever. You'll find some activities or list of values, and you'll find some things to trigger your brain to go, okay, for a reference point, totally fine. But some of the values. So, for instance, some of the values in my own business and training. When life gives you lemons, make lemonade. That's a very key value, and it's like an opening story in my book. And I use that, I use a story about how, someone takes some discarded lemons and makes lemonade out of it, and makes a business and all the rest. Because I think that's a very good lesson to remember when you're running a business, which is, things aren't always going to go to plan. And you can be mad and sad and wallow in it, or you can go, right, it's not what I expected. How can I work with this? Yeah, make lemonade. Another value might be treat others as you treat yourself. Another value might be around, there's more than one way to skin a cat. I don't have that specifically as a value because I love cats, and that just doesn't sit right with me. But you know what I mean. So another value is actually a quote. I think it's a Disney quote. Actually, it's like I don't have it in front of me. I want to put them on the wall behind me, and I haven't done it yet in my new office. But if you can dream it, you can plan it. If you can plan it, you can do it. Yeah. And you can become it. So that's a key central point for me helping startups, which is like, if you can dream it, then there's a way to do it. No problem. Yeah. There's people going into space right now. No problem. From there, we devise our vision for our business. So our vision or our vision statement says, what are we doing in the future? What's the end game? Do we want to sell this business in the future? Do we want to have a cattle ranch with a paddock to plate? Just kidding. Do we want to have a partnership? Do we want to sell it to a big corporation? Like, what are we doing here? What's our dream? What's our dream format of our business? Because I tell you what, and this is something I think is a good learning lesson when you're planning out your business. Don't get ahead of yourself. When you're starting out, start with one product, start with one service, one marketing strategy. Just keep it super simple and work out the bugs on the way. What you do on day one in your business is a bit like your first house you buy. You don't buy your dream house as your first house, do you? You got to work up to it, right? You earn money in the future, you build things, you figure out more what you want in your house and whatever. So your dream house sort of comes at the end of a few different houses, where you figure out, hey, this is what I want, and now I can afford it or achieve it or whatever it might be. Business is exactly the same, right? Quite often we might start with a kind of a working model of our ideal business, and each phase of our planning over the 5 years or whatever it is gets us to our dream business, and that's the vision. Mission statement's a little bit different. Mission statement is a daily action statement. So it's the what we do, why we do it, who it's for, and to what kind of quality, right? So I'll say that again. What we do, why we do it, who we do it for, and to what level of quality, right? So if you look at any of your favorite big brands like Apple, Toyota, Hyundai, Disney, yeah, and then search mission statement. So Toyota mission statement, you can read their mission statements and you'll see it's that kind of format. And the reason we have this format is so that it reminds us, okay, this is what we're doing, this is who we're serving, like quality, for example. I always say, if you find yourself saying, oh, that's good enough, it's not good enough. That is the triggering statement that you have not really done it to the full extent that you want to do it. So, you've got to figure out, and again, it comes back to your values. From all your why, you come to your product or your service. Product and service are very interchangeable in planning terminology, right? Means the same thing, really. Your product is what you're selling. Your position and all the characteristics that go with that, right? Like quality or whatever. Position is like, okay, if there's you and 3 other competitors, what is, where are you? Are you high price? Are you low price? Are you high quality, low quality, import, local? Like, where's your position in the market? What's what makes you different to your competitors? Which leads into your USP. And when it says value there, it means like product value. So your USP is like your unique selling proposition or selling point. That's like, what is special about you, right? Like, I'm a trainer. Well, there's probably a million trainers and coaches and whatever in the world. What is unique about me? And I can say wholeheartedly, what's unique about me is that I'm a die-hard solutionist. I don't say no for an answer. I don't take it can't be done for an answer. And if people want to bring me the most far-out idea, I will totally support them to do it. That's unique to me. And I didn't realize that was unique to me until I really started operating my startup training business, right? I would have these startups come to me that go, oh, I tried that, but everyone said it wouldn't work, so I didn't do it. I'm like, oh my goodness, are these people oracles? Can they tell the future? Why are they telling you not to do something? It's not their business. So I was like, well, surely if I'm going to get paid to do this, then part of my cleverness and my genius should be about helping me figure out how to do it, right? So that was unique to me. It took me a little while to figure that out. So if you're not sure what's unique about you and how you do it, it is a kind of a comparative exercise, right? So there's a lot of theories on not comparing yourself to others, but the reality is your customers are going to compare you to others, right? So it's not about your worth as a human. It's about your value as a service provider and a product creator, okay? What is unique that you bring to it? Then you go through your planning of, okay, now that we have that, how do we connect with customers? So this is all your marketing communications, how you do everything, how you put it all together, which brings them into the sales process, which is everything from where is your bank account sitting? How does money come into it? Where do people transact? Where do they find you to transact? How do they buy from you? That's all the sales process. And then follow-up. Now, the reason follow-up is there is because it's super important in your planning in your business. Follow-up is all about service delivery, feedback, testimonials, asking for referrals, very important. It's a great free way to get people just like your customers to come and also buy from you. There's no better marketing method out there. I challenge you, anybody who says there is, referrals, and they're free. And then that brings you back to your product. So if you do your follow-up and everybody goes, I loved it, but there's just this one thing that I was like, yeah, you know what I mean? Like the packaging was a bit sucky, but the product was good. Or, hey, I got what I wanted, but the delivery was not great from so-and-so, your consultants, things like that. Okay, and that brings us back to product and going, right, we can reevaluate our product or our service and what are we doing here? And you can go through the cycle. So this is kind of a planning cycle. And this is the center point that rotates your business plan. Now, you could use this as a flywheel business plan. You could literally, if you want to take a print screen or a screenshot of this, I'm happy for you to do that. And you can literally just make little dashes and notes off each bit of the flywheel and go, right, what am I doing here? What am I doing here? What am I doing here? Go for it. I'm going to give you 5 seconds to do that. Find that button, and then I'll move to the next slide. We're going to have to move along. There's a few things left. Okay. All right. So now I'm going to show you just a couple of different templates, okay? Because that's probably quite important. Let me just find. That's probably fine. Going to find a page that's not offensive or shows private information. All right. So this is searching Google and Firefox. Quite often actually I might use Google to do my searches. So first thing I'm going to show you is a business model canvas. Okay, business model canvas. This is a great little one-pager. Let's see if I can find. just need this one. Hopefully it's big enough for me to show you. Probably downloaded one last time actually. Okay. See, make sure everyone can see that. Okay. All right. This is what's called a business model canvas. Now I think this is actually from strategize.com, but anyway, whoever made this was very, very clever because it actually, even the positions of everything on here is in the right position, if you know what I mean. So this is from Wikipedia. It says I can download it. Okay, I can download this file and I could probably use it. It's got all their branding. So this is a great lead magnet for them. All right, so you can see here in the center is our value propositions. Now, it might be a little bit hard to see that. See if I can make that bigger. That's about as big as I can get it. Oh, no, there we go. Much bigger. Okay, so value proposition. What value do we deliver? What problems are we trying to solve? How do we bundle products and services for each customer segment? Now, segment, I mentioned earlier, is like a great way to describe segment is like if you're a phone company. Well, everybody kind of uses a phone, right? There's very few people who don't use a phone, but we wouldn't market the same messages and value and package and everything to every phone user exactly the same, right? So if I am a 15-year-old kid that wants to get on all my apps all day on my phone, that's a different plan, like a phone plan, to someone who potentially is a grandma and just, gets incoming calls on a big button phone. I'm not pigeonholing anyone, I'm just saying examples. Right? So you have to segment your customers the same way. So your customers, they will be, how do you say it? They will relate to you in different ways based on the kind of things they have in common. So if you can find that one group have a bunch of things in common, they probably will find the same value from your product in that group, as opposed to another group that are very different, but this group over here, inside that group, have a lot of different things in common, right? And you might relate to them in a different way. It's not about being dishonest. It's not about having mixed messages or confusing people. It's literally about saying, hey, student, you might love this because of this. Hey, grandma, yo, rockin' grandma, you might love this because of this, right? Same product, just slightly different variations or slightly different communication messages, right? So get some characteristics on your value. And then on the left here, we've got key activities. So what do you require in order to get this product or service rolling as key activities? So how do people find you? What sort of revenue comes from them? What sort of operational stuff do you need to do, right? And then we've got key partners, again, is on the end. So between your value and what you do, there's activities which you might share with other partners, right? Do activities together. So I do quite a lot of collaborating. I'm a big collaborator. I'm not very competitive. I kind of suck at competition. I'm like, everybody wins. So working with other people suits me very, very nicely. And we might have some key partners that are like, they might help you promote to their database, or they might help you come up with a product or service and things like that, right? All right, you get the idea. Key resources to be able to do the activities, and on the right, and then down the bottom is your cost structure. So you see everything on the left side of the canvas is all about what you do, how you do it, who you do it with, and how much is it going to cost you, okay? Then on the right side of the canvas is who are your customers? What relationship do you have with them? How do you reach out to them? Are they expensive to acquire, so to speak? Is it expensive to talk to them? And where do you find them? So channels is like, where do you connect with your customers? Okay. And then on the far side is like the segments. So then specifically, what kind of groups are we talking to and what are we selling to them? And then down the bottom of that flow is your revenue. So you can see what I mean is nicely positioned. So if you want to download this figure and follow it, so business model Canva on Wikipedia, and you'll be able to find that. And then the other business plan I want to show you. So I've showed you some, diagrams and things like that, giving you OneNote, different things to do, some other versions. But I would suggest whatever version you're going to do, if you've not done a business plan before, I would download a business plan template like this one I'm going to show you. So most government agencies, most levels of government have a business plan template you can use. So this is the Australian government, which I like. Queensland government have one. So I've gone to business.gov for government.au. So business.gov.au. There's also business.qld.gov.au. So it's that tail, I don't know if that's highlighting enough, it's that tail that tells you which level of government it is, right? If there's no state initialism there, like ACT or WA or NT or NSW, then it's federal. Otherwise, the state little tag will be just in front of the .gov, and then business. So if you just search, you could try, business.qld.gov.au. I know that is the business portal for Queensland. And if you just go business NT, business WA, you'll find your relative one. I just don't know them all off by heart. That's why I'm not saying, but they're there. Okay. So I'm just going to put business plan template in search. I'm not going to go sifting through. And I know the top one is already colored because I've been to it a million times. And it says there is some other information here about, just want to make sure I'm sharing this. Yes, there's some other information here about, a little bit about why you plan, prepare your finances, write a summary, review, protect. Yes, very good. So there's a lean business template here. I'm going to say I'm probably, sorry, Australian government, I'm probably not a very big fan of the lean template. I'm not sure it draws out the same things that I would draw out to refer to on a regular basis or to get me going. But the regular business plan template is very good. So I'm going to open this. Now, if you are using Google Docs or whatever, don't forget you can just, any kind of Microsoft template or Word template you come across, what you do is you say, I'm not going to open it, I'm going to save as, and save it into your computer or drive or USB or cloud or wherever you want to save it, probably to your computer first. And then you open up Google Docs or whatever program, whatever word processing program you're using, and then you open the file from within the program. Okay, so I say that again, if you're not using Word specifically, download it to your computer and save it. Open up the program you want to use and then open the document from within the program. So like home and then open, right? Oh, sorry, file and open. Okay, so this is what it looks like. Now I'm not going to enable editing right now, but you would just click enable editing to start typing. And this is a 19-page template. Okay, it's actually not too long. I've seen longer. Okay, I've seen longer templates. There's your basic details about registrations and everything. I know we're just out of time now, so I'm going to say this is something you can go through in your own time. If we were doing the 2-hour version, we'd probably go through this in a lot of detail. Not able to see it. Thank you very much for telling me that. Good tip. Thank you. All right, so this is the federal government one. I just said, enable editing, file and open if you're in a different program. Thank you very much for that. And it's 19 pages. So your basic information. So business structure is like, are you a company? Are you a trust? Are you a corporate trustee for what are you? Are you a sole trader? Are you a partnership? I will give you a tip. If you are a partnership of any kind where you're running a business with someone else, you have to do a detailed business plan. That is the other thing I should have said. If your first business, if you're running for finance, and if you have a partnership, you have to do a detailed business plan. I've literally sat in, I can't count how many meetings with partners where they think they're on the same page, running in the same direction, doing everything the same. And once they start having to explain it to me, they realize they're actually not doing the same thing. And by writing it by forcing yourself to put it in a written form and reading it back to each other and to yourselves, it forces you to actually check whether you have been communicating fully and clearly, which, things get muddled when it's all verbal. People forget stuff, but if it's on paper, set in stone. there's a business registration. So I would actually not follow this link for business registrations. It just tells you more about it. So there are some links for this document to tell you about it. I'm going to show you a very important website in a minute to go through registrations very quickly. So here's your contents page, and you see what I mean: business, market, risk management, goals, actions, finances, vision, mission. Yeah, goes through everything. And I like this template because there's a little bit of prompts. So it's like, hey, do this last. This is your summary. And you know, and you could literally have this as your one pager if you really wanted. Yeah. So our vision. Okay. So this is like a little trigger. Like, this is what the vision's about. Here's an example, right? So this is a great little template. I really like this template. You know, and there's also little links. So make sure you're doing this on while you're got your internet on, and it'll take you to, you know, different places. So remember to hold your control button and click, or right click and open. Assets, you've got the assets. So if you do have assets, you know, think about what structure you have. So if you are deciding on your structure for your business, as in your company or whatever, you need to talk to 2 different professionals. All right. Most people know to go to the accountant. Not many people realize they should go to a solicitor. Okay, go to a business or commercial lawyer to check if your structure is going to protect your personal assets. Okay, an accountant can give a little bit of direction on that, but mostly an accountant will tell you what business structure will help with your tax minimization. Not many will tell you, hey, if you do this, you're going to put your whole family home that's mortgage free at risk. Okay, so go to a solicitor and an accountant to talk about what structure is really right for you. If you're planning to apply for grants and tenders and things in future, especially tenders, they don't often like a trust format, I'll just say. So if you do set it up as a trust, you might want to consider having a company sit under that trust if you're looking at doing tenders in future. But again, this is not advice. I'm just letting you know there's lots of different things to consider. And you need to apply for those. So you do need an ABN. There's lots of things I can go through with you right now, but just go through this in lots of detail. If you need help, you can reach out to me and I'll absolutely answer your questions, or you can have some one-to-one with me through the Digital Solutions program. But I do want to show you just one more website before you go, if you stay with me 1 minute. Very, very important. Okay, so ABLIS, ABLIS, Australian Business License and Information Service. All right, so if you haven't, even if you are already operating your business, I highly suggest you go and do this. Quite often I will sit in front of someone who absolutely sure they've got everything done, and then we do this exercise and there's like 3 registrations or licenses they're supposed to have. All right, so you go, not sure where to start, and you're going to do a diagnostic. Okay, so ABLIS, go to the ABLIS website, say I'm not sure where to start, do the diagnostic, and you say, okay, so I'm a education and training, for example. It'll give me some prompts. Maybe I'll just go training. I'll be honest, this is the hardest part when you come to these kinds of things, is you've got to find like, which one is mine? I'll just go training organization. It said you could click underneath to add another business type. So if you're a bookshop and a cafe, for example, they're different, right? Okay, I'm in Brisbane. Which Brisbane? Yeah, I'm in the city. Let's do that. Add another location if you've got other branches, and you go through this, right? So you just answer all the questions. If you're not sure, click multiple things. All right. And I'm just gonna see if I can really super quickly get through this so that I can show you what it looks like at the end. Oh, anyway, maybe not. Yes. I'm gonna do all this. I'm gonna have music. I'm gonna have a premises. Yes. Do you want to sell? Yes, I'll have some printed. I'll have some written, and I'm gonna do this and do that. Yes, I'm gonna play music, so I need we need a license for music. You can't just play anybody's music and not pay them for it. Strange thing, that. Yes. Next. Taxation. Do you require tax? Yes. Oh, yes. Okay. That. Yes, I need a tax file number. I need all this stuff. I don't have any of this stuff. Next. Employment, am I going to employ staff? Yes. Clearly very thought worthy here. Health and safety, yes. I just want all of it. Give it to me all. Yes. Okay. Are we there yet? No, not quite. Oh my goodness. All right. No, I'm not going to do that one. Plant equipment, yes. Commercial vehicle, no reserves, yes. Okay, so it looped me back because I was like, well, you said you're not going to do plant. No. I feel like I'm almost there. So that was a business specific one. No. Yes. Okay. Hopefully we're there at the end there. So obviously that will take you a few more minutes to read through everything. Now, this is what I want to show you. This is the results. Literally shows you all the different registrations, licenses, laws, like the privacy principles, the commercial parking for your council. So it shows you everything over all levels of government in Australia, Australian, state, local council, right? That's why it asked me for my specific operating location. And you can get all, you can keep this open in your window, you can download it, and you just go through one by one. Now it's a lot of information because I clicked everything, obviously, because I clicked everything. Okay, so, but you know, this is like approval of courses in education, vet loan provider. This is stuff specific to my business type I clicked, okay, and all this other stuff, protecting children, disability standards, English as a second language, employer relations, fair work, first aid, hazardous materials, because I'm gonna show them automotive, whatever, okay, blah, 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 blah. Okay, email me, print version, you don't want the print version, unless it has the links, but yeah, I would email it, I would get it emailed to yourself, then you can refer back to it, okay? So this is all you need to go through all that other stuff. So this is a key point of research if you're doing a business, all right? And that's really what I wanted to show you. So for the business planning, the first part you're going to start with, okay? First part you're going to start with is what business are you doing? Why are you doing it? Figure out your values, your vision, your mission, okay? From there, does this product actually going to work, or the service actually going to work? And if you have to test it out a couple of times, go test it out, no problem, all right? If you need to do some surveys and feedback, go do that. Collect all your research and then start filling out your business plan template. Do that long form from the Australian government would be my best encouragement. And then you could do any of the shortened versions after that if you feel like, I'm just not going to look at this again. If you get that inkling like, this was a great exercise, but I don't think I'm ever going to look at this again, then after you do the long form, do a shortened version like a flywheel or like a mind map, or, you know, probably the journal style is one of my favorites, to be able to have that flexibility to throw in a page which is for a certain part of your plan and not feel the pressure to be locked into that, and just be like, right, marketing, I've been doing this marketing for 6 months, not a week. I'm doing this marketing strategy for 6 months. I'm not getting any return on my investment. Out it comes. Let's do something else. Whack it in. Does it, you know, flick through the pages? Does it still all fit? Is it within budget? Yes, great. No problem. That's great. That's like a, 10-page journal. It's great. So that's probably one of my favorites. It's very, very, it's a very personal style of business plan that you can alternate and flex and everything like that. All right. Just to finish off, that's all I'm going to show you for business planning today. For the program, I just want to let you know it's only $44. I'm going to tell you a little secret that if you're not in Queensland or Northern Territory or WA, you need to be in one of those three to come to me or us at Business Station, because that's what we have approval to deliver the service. We have Queensland, Northern Territory, and Western Australia. If you're outside those zones, don't panic. You can still access this program. It's just not through Business Station. So if you want to know, if you're not in the area but you want to do this program, same price, same kind of style delivery, just send me an email or put it in the chat before we finish in a minute, and say, yes, please, I'm in this state, and I'll find the details for you to connect with that organization. But you know, we tend to focus on digital skills. So right now it's about creating a business plan, which is very kind of general type advice, general advisory, but at the same, like strategy, but at the same time, you know, being able to find the websites, go to Ableist, use a OneNote, use a you know, Smartart in a Word document, right? These are all digital tools to help you map out your thoughts and your ideas on your business, right? But there's nothing wrong with, for this particular topic, there's nothing wrong with good old paper and pen, which I'm quite fond of myself. Okay. This is my details at the bottom. So if you have any questions from today, please feel free to email me at rhonwyn@businessstation.com.au. And if you want to register right now and pay the $44 and get your 3 hours of coaching and mentoring, which is amazing. That'd be like $1,000 in my business to do, you know, or 2,000 do workshops and stuff, right? This is a very high quality, high value program. You don't have to have your sessions with me. There, if you go to businessstation.com.au, you will find the advisors page, and it shows you all the people you can access. But if you want to register directly with me, go to businessstation.link/Rhonwyn, RHONWYN, and you can have your first session with me, and we can go through business planning just for you if you like. Steph, when are you making the webinar? Oh, the marketing. Yeah, sorry, I misread that. The marketing webinar, I will have to check dates, Steph, but you would have registered today, so I'm happy to email those dates to you if you like. Probably in the next few weeks. I tend to rotate them every few weeks or so. But yeah, you can absolutely, if you want to, yeah, no problem. I will make sure you get that link for the marketing planning one. So to be eligible for the program, like to pay the $44, really breaking the budget. I mean, it could break the budget. So if you, to be honest, if $44 is actually a struggle to you, but you know you need this, please email me anyway, okay? And we'll talk. All right, so you must have an ABN registered in WA, Queensland or Northern Territory. You must be doing a for-profit business. If you're running a not-for-profit, again, please email me directly, rhonwyn@businessstation.com.au. And you have to have fewer than 20 full-time equivalent staff, right? That's most of us when we're starting out and doing planning. So yeah, that's it for today. I hope you enjoyed today's webinar, which of course went over time because I notoriously talk too much and give too much info, too many examples. But hopefully that style suits you. So yeah, come back again. And obviously, if you are not in the program, you can go to the Eventbrite page and you can register for a couple of different workshops as well. Thanks, guys. All right, thanks so much for joining me today, and have a wonderful first week back in January. So if you're watching back the recording, that's right. First week back for 2022. Hopefully it's amazing for all of you, and I wish you all the best, honestly, really, truly. Okay, guys, I will see you soon. Thanks, guys.